Today, we're going to be talking about what to pay your junk removal team and how do you pay them. Meaning, is it a straight salary? Is it a percentage of the job? Is it a bonus structure? Is it tips based? Is it a combination of? So let's get into this. First, let's talk about why this matters. Because if you pay too little, you bleed your talent and they will leave. But if you pay too much, if you pay blind just on instinct, I think this guy's worth $25 an hour or $30 an hour, whatever you end up deciding, you could bleed your margin out. So labor is your biggest cost normally. Now, some of you would say marketing is your biggest cost or they're neck and neck. Some of you might even say insurance. That's right. Depending on your market, insurance is potentially your biggest or one of your biggest costs. But labor is typically across the board your biggest expense, especially including your taxes. It's also the number one driver, though, of reviews, upsells, and repeat jobs. So the goal here is a fair base plus bonuses so that your best people earn more only when the bonus wins. And that's the key. Let's start by looking at the national baseline average here, which is $17.50 an hour. So most field roles run between $32,000 and $45,000 annually. Premium brands like 1-800-GOT-JUNK, they pay more with tips and bonuses on average, though not base alone. So let's talk about the individual roles and what each role earns in 2026. A new hire is normally going to land between $15 and $18 an hour plus tips. Now, I get it. Your market is different than mine. You may be able to bring on one of your kids. It may be a couple of buddies, and he's willing to help out at $12.50 an hour plus tips. But nationally, again, what you're looking at is between $15 to $18 an hour starting in the junk removal industry. Now, tips and bonus can add quite a bit to that, as you guys know. So when you factor in tips, and this is the way you want to present this to a new hire, you may start at $15 an hour. However, with tips, you might be averaging $20 an hour or more, not to mention bonuses. So if you're doing a team performance bonus, we know that number can go way up. But we'll get into that here in just a few minutes. Experienced laborers, drivers, normally they're going to start between $18 and $22 an hour. Again, depending on your market. My market is going to be different than if I'm in LA, if I'm in New York, if I'm in Las Vegas. Why? Because the cost of living there is very different. It's much higher than it is here in the Charlotte area. Now, keep in mind, on top of that, there's tips and bonuses. A crew leader, your foreman, whoever is really your in the field manager, is usually going to bring in between $20 and $26 an hour in terms of base pay. On top of that, they're going to get a bonus, at least they should. They should get a bonus based on team performance, company performance. So at the end of the month, if the company hits X, the manager gets this bonus. Now, what we've done is we've said the manager is going to get the lion's share of that bonus. And for sake of argument, let's just say that we hit $150,000 this month and our manager is going to get a percentage of that team bonus. Let's say the team bonus as a whole is $10,000. The manager is going to get the larger percentage of that. We don't pay our part-time workers that same bonus. Why? Because if you're part-time, some of our guys literally only work 10 hours a week or less. So these are really just as we need them, they'll jump in and help us out. So part-timers don't get that same level of bonus. But if you're a full-timer, at least 40 hours a week, you're going to get the rest of that bonus after the manager. That's divvied up between the remaining 4 or 5 full-timers that are here. Your dispatcher or your CSR is going to start between $18 to $24 an hour, 38 to 50K in base salary, plus a team bonus as well. Our manager gets a team bonus, the total that the entire team brings in, because that's what he manages, is everyone on that team. And lastly, your operations manager. Your ops manager normally is going to make between 55 to 80K a year. 80K is on the high end, and that's, again, usually from a 1-800-GOT-JUNK, your big franchises. So again, the national average, 55 to 80K, plus there's some kind of a profit share model on top of that. Keep in mind the fine print down here. This ranges by 20 to 30% by metro versus rural market. Charlotte, Mooresville, where we are, is really more considered a rural market versus a metro. Your New York's, Atlanta, Miami, Las Vegas, LA, San Francisco. Those are your big cities where, quite frankly, cost of living is just so much higher than it is here. So just keep that in mind as you look at these numbers and as you consider your own numbers. Let's look at the model here. The total comp is based on these 3 components: the base salary, the tips, and the bonuses. Tips vary wildly. Why is that? Who knows? I don't think any of us can identify why that is, but it is really funny how you'll have a week where our guys get three, four, five customers in a row, sometimes in the same day or spread out over a few days, where they're getting $100 tips each person. I have seen my guys come home and I've seen the guys come back to base in a day just on cash tips and have $500 or more in their pocket. The tips are very unpredictable. So we try to be very conservative when meeting with new hires, what their tips could look like. Okay. So on average, I would say tips are going to be $200 to $300 per week. But add that up in a month's time, you're still talking $800 to $1,000 a month in extra money. So if we just simple back of the napkin math, if we just said $1,000 a month, divide that by 4 weeks in a month, there's $250 a week that you're adding to your base pay. So if someone is already making $800 a week in terms of their base pay at $20 an hour, 40 hours a week, if they're making 800, now they're at 1,050. So now they're well over 50K a year just because of those tips. So it's a big difference. Now, if they're hitting big numbers and they're winning as a team, they're getting a bonus on top of that. These guys can make 60K plus pretty easily. And that's really entry level. So it really comes down to, again, how you structure things. But we give our guys 100% of their tips, whether it's cash or credit, they keep all the tips. Now, the base wage needs to be fair, dependable, at or just above market value. It buys reliability. Tips are customer driven. You never touch them. They're the crews. And then lastly, performance bonus. That's the lever. That pays more only when revenue and safety hit their target. So we're going to talk about the metrics that go into that performance bonus here in just a minute. But again, you want to keep the base predictable and make the bonus the thing that they chase. There are two levers that you can pull with your employees, and there's two ways to pay for performance. Transactional, which means commission based, a percentage of each job's ticket paid to the crew. That drives upsells and hustle on every step. The next one is conditional or a team bonus. That's paid when the team hits a shared target. That builds teamwork instead of every man for himself or herself. Most operators run both a small crew commission plus a monthly team bonus. Let's talk about the three bonus structures that work. The crew revenue share, which is where you pull 5 to 10% of the daily ticket and you split that by the crew. The reward there is the upsells and the speed that it delivers. Then you have a monthly team target. That's where you hit the monthly revenue goal and you have a flat pool per head. And that really drives teamwork. Everyone wants to row in the same direction when they know, hey, if we don't individually pull our weight, we may not hit that number this month. And if we don't get our bonus, as in like none of us. So you need to have minimums in place. So if your business is doing $20,000 a month on average, and you're really trying to get to that next tier of 25 or 30,000, whatever your number is, you want to have an aspirational goal. You want to have a number that is a stretch goal is what I'd call that. If that stretch goal is say 30, but you're going to be happy if the guys hit 25, well, then there you go. Tell them the goal for this month, guys, is 30, but the minimum we need to hit is 25. As long as we hit 25, you guys are going to get a bonus of X. If we don't hit that number, no one gets anything. Now, if they say, well, that's not fair, a lot of your guys are going to feel like, well, that's not fair. If we bust our butt and we do 24,999, that's not fair. Okay, then what you want to do is you want to contribute. You want to get that oar in the water and row with us. In other words, oftentimes your guys will feel like that the sales, the revenue performance is all predicated on your performance as the boss or the manager. They're going to feel like, well, it's not fair. As the owner, your job is to bring in all the leads. Is it? It shouldn't be. It should be both of our jobs. Our job is to make sure that the phones are ringing and leads are coming in. Your job, though, is to make sure that you are upselling every single time that you can. It's also to make sure that you're doing drop-ins strategically. Should you guys stop in the middle of the day and go do a drop-in? No, that's not what we're suggesting. What we're saying is it could be as simple as when you have one job here on this side of town and your next job is over here, when you're on your way to that next job, I guarantee you're going to pass businesses that need your services. You're going to pass apartment complexes, storage units, any kind of retail business. It may be a doctor's office. Why would that even be a candidate? Well, they're going to have bulky trash to get rid of as well. They get usually pallets of supplies, medical supplies. So you have to really think outside the box here. Dumpster pads are a big one that you guys can hit up. Gas stations, think of the amount of stuff that come into a gas station on a daily basis. All the food, all the stuff inside usually arrives on pallets and boxes, and they have to get rid of that stuff. So these are just simple little tips where you can really incentivize your guys to go out there and make it happen. I would challenge you to really think about it. If your guys have that mindset, and that's where you do want to hire people that have the ability to sell. You want to have guys that have the ability to speak to people without it being handed to them. So really try to hire the right people. This is a tricky business in that sense. You need people that have a combination of that hard work and grit, but they also are good with people. They've got a great personality. They're great at selling. You need a combination of someone that is welcome into someone's home because you're going to be going in people's homes. You're going into their bedrooms and their bathrooms and their kitchens, and you're around their kids and their family. So you want that personality that really is part customer service, it's part physical labor, it's part sales, it's part therapist at times. When you're doing a hoarder house cleanout, you just never know. Our guys can tell you some stories. You never know who you're going to encounter on these jobs, but our guys have done it all. They have seen it all. So make sure you're hiring the right people. And sales should be a huge piece of that. Do they have the personality to upsell someone? That simple. Hey, I noticed you've got that old broken down dresser in the garage. We can take that. I mean, it would add like $20. If you've already loaded a whole truck and they've got this one little dresser over there, I can grab that for $20. See how easy that was? There's no hard sell. Hey, I noticed you've got a refrigerator that's not working. I've noticed you've got a hot tub that's over there kind of on its side, or it looks like it's leaking. We could take that for you. We're already here. That's normally $300. I could probably add that for half price or maybe even less. Let me call my boss and see. Simple little tactics like that. So you want to have the right people that have that sales mind at all times. They're looking at how can I upsell? How can I, more importantly, how can I add value? How can I add value to not just this job, but to that person, to that customer? Okay. And then lastly, the structure here, you could base it on efficiency and safety. Job on budget and accident free gets a share, say 20% of hours saved. That's all about margin and safety. So these are just a few ways that you can structure your bonuses so that everyone wins. The rule of thumb here is cap the bonus so a great month adds 10 to 20% to take home. Pay bonuses fast and try to pay them the same week. Let's talk about the specific KPIs here and tie your bonuses to 2 to 3 of these numbers max. You don't want to overwhelm these guys. Revenue per truck per day and average ticket, the upsell number. The next one would be 5-star reviews. You want to make sure you're getting these reviews on time and that they're doing damage-free completions. If you're getting a bunch of customers complaining, hey, you guys did a great job getting the couch out of my house. You did a bad job, though, dinging up the walls, and you messed up my staircase. They dropped it on the floor and scratched my brand new hardwood floors. That's a true story, happened to us. Jobs per day plus utilization. Target 75 to 80% of productive time. That's what you want. You want your guys being productive. If they are in between jobs and all they're doing is pulling in a parking lot and playing Call of Duty Mobile and eating and talking, that's a problem. They are not utilizing their time wisely. Whose fault is that? It's your fault. Your fault, because you as the manager, the owner, you need to rein that in. By the way, just because someone does not hit a home run right out of the gate does not mean they're not going to be a phenomenal long-term employee. You have to teach them. So make sure that as the boss, as the manager, the owner, that you are taking the time to really teach your guys how to do this stuff. How do you stay productive in that truck, guys? Well, we produced a in-truck field guide that is in the truck that the guys can at any point open that up, and it gives them a list of things to do to be productive. I'll give you a great example. Could they go into Facebook Marketplace and find people that are getting rid of a piano, a hot tub, big bulky items, and say, hey, by the way, if you have any trouble getting rid of that, let us know. We'd be happy to help. Price is based on volume. Sure, they can. Can they call past customers or text past customers? Hey, Steve, it looks like we did a job for you a few weeks ago. I know you had a garage full of stuff. You mentioned maybe having us come back out. We are literally around the corner from you on the next street over. Any chance we could stop by and just take a look at it and give you a price? No pressure beyond that. We've had those things happen to us many times. So this gives the guys a checklist of things they can do every single day versus goofing off. So teach them these things. Do the drop-ins, do the yard signs, do the door hangers. Let's talk about the rebook and referral rate. Why would a customer want to rebook and refer your business? Well, it's not just because you remove junk in their house. Anyone can do that. Let's be honest. Really, the reason customers want to rebook and refer is how you treat them. This is our personal philosophy, but we treat our customers like they are the most important person in the world on any given job. How do we do that? Number one is we know their name. We check that name before we go up. We don't walk up and say, hey, we're here to do junk removal for you. Our guys know the job. They know the customer's name. So it's, hey, are you Jim? Hey, Jim, my name is Ted. I'm with Junk Raider. Looks like we're doing a garage clean out for you today. Awesome. If you just show us the way, we will firm up that price like we talked about over the phone. Make sure you're happy with it before we touch anything. So lead the way. Just like that. It's so simple. Now, Jim shows you the stuff and you want to try to build a relationship with Jim. Why? Because you want him to book with you again. You want him to refer you to his neighbors, to his sister, to his brother, to his colleagues. When they're with a customer, feed off their energy. If someone is all business and they don't want to joke around, they don't want to laugh and goof off, no problem. We'll stay quiet, we'll stay out of the way. But if that person is in a good mood and they're happy and they're joking around, we want to match that energy as much as possible. Doesn't mean if someone's a crackhead, we want to want to match that kind of energy, but you get the idea. But make sure you guys, as the owners, managers, make sure that you are really taking control and teaching your guys how to behave in the field, how to treat those customers, lifting techniques. All those things matter. Why? Because if you're not beating up their house and their stuff in the process, you're going to get rebooked, you're going to get referrals, and that's what this really comes down to, is how to maximize every single job that you get. Let's talk about motivation. How do you keep your crew fired up? Well, cash and instant payouts. Gift cards, 90% of workers want a gift card. Same week payouts and spot bonuses are huge. Let's talk about time and fun, extra paid time off, team outings, cookouts, prizes, the first pick of the schedule. I can tell you this, at the end of every month, we do some kind of a team meeting. Sometimes it's literally at my house or Davis's house where the guys can play basketball, swim, play cornhole, barbecue. Other times we treat them to a restaurant and we let them choose. We may go to the bowling alley or Dave and Buster's and let them play games and bowl and just hang out. We rent tree houses and hobbit houses. We've done Airbnbs with pools and on the lake so the guys can fish. And if they want to spend the night, they can. So why do we do that? Because they look forward to it so much. These guys spend more time with each other than their families in terms of one-on-one quality time. So you want to give them time to really unwind and have fun and not just be work. And we have found this is phenomenal in terms of really building great culture where these guys want to stay. Next is recognition. 83.6% work harder when recognized. That is based on empirical data from places like Glassdoor and LinkedIn. When your employees feel like they are being heard and seen and that you recognize their hard work, they're not just a number. You appreciate them as a human being. Listen to me, guys. I'm going to go off script here and just and talk from the heart for a second. And hopefully this doesn't cause too much controversy, but I can tell you this. Davis and I, in some ways, could not be more different. In some ways, we are absolutely aligned and we really think a lot alike. We share a lot of the same passion in terms of this business. But in some ways, we're very different. One of them is Davis tends to be all business. He's by the numbers, and I tend to be more carefree and everything's off the cuff. What you don't want to do, guys, is you don't want to be all business and you don't want to be all fun. You've got to find a way to meet in the middle. One thing that I have struggled with is how do I make sure the guys know that they are appreciated beyond the numbers? And conversely, how do I make the guys understand how important the numbers are and it's not just all fun and games? You have to figure that out as a business because your guys, if they feel like you don't care about them, I know, this is going to sound corny for some people. One of my favorite authors, though, is a guy named John Maxwell. And he says often that your people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. So, for those of you that wonder why your turnover rate is so high or why it's so hard to find good guys, it's probably you. It's probably your management style. If you're that manager or that owner that gets upset with your guys and just starts screaming at them, you're the reason why you can't find and retain good people because we don't have that problem. We don't have turnover at all. Our guys have been here 8.5 years, 7.5 years. I've said it before, but our guys are virtually lifers, which is why our focus has turned to how do we give them a career beyond junk removal? Because anyone can do this. That means most likely they're not going to do this long term. So we've looked at how do we build a career, which is why we've gotten so diversified in other services. We want our great guys to stay here and grow and own this local market, not just junk removal, but other services that we provide. So if you're having a problem with turnover, most likely you're the issue. The question is, would you like me to talk to you the way you talk to your guys? If the answer is no, then you need to change your ways. You need to do some soul searching. You need to read some books, go to a Tony Robbins seminar. And I'm not joking, but you have to look at the way you treat your guys is everything. They cannot feel like they're just a number and all they do is produce for you. They need to feel like you care about them. Because if you don't, they're going to go somewhere else. People want to feel valued. Look at this 83.6, let's call it 84, 84% of your people, because this is national. This is, in fact, this is likely global. I didn't look, but this is likely global because people are people. 84% of people work harder when they're recognized. Think about that. They will stay for less money if they just feel like they matter to you. Make sure that you're going up to your guys and saying, hey, even if they act a little funny, if they do one of these at you, you're doing it right. But make sure your guys know, hey, listen, James, I just want you to know I really appreciate you. I go up to my guys just about every time I see them, and I hug all my guys. All my employees know that. We all hug. I go up, I'm a dad, I'm a granddad, I'm active in my church and in my gym, and I hug everybody. I go up and I give them a big hug and I say, hey, man, I appreciate you. How was your week? How are you doing? How's your wife? How are your kids? Whatever happened at work, for if it's my boxing buddy or someone from my church, I'll say, hey, whatever happened with that job, did you end up getting on with them? I care. Make sure you guys feel like you care about them. They will stay with you and they will go in the trenches and they will do those hard jobs and they'll work when it's 110 degrees with the heat index today. They'll do that for you. Hear me. They're doing it for you because they know you care about them. Can they go other places and make more money? Yes. Make sure they know you care. That's how you keep your crew fired up, is you invest in them. Okay, so once again, 84% of workers are going to work harder when they feel recognized. Okay. What is the payoff? A strong incentive program reports a net gain of 27% output and 31% lower turnover. There you go. There's the validation. So again, let me recap. All this is good, but trust me, if you just make your people feel like you care more than the numbers they produce, doesn't mean that you tolerate bad behavior, but there's a way you do that. That'll be another episode. There's a way you want to do that. You want to coach your guys the right way. Take them out for coffee, take them out to lunch, and just have that talk and just say, hey, listen, let's talk about performance. I'm a big proponent of the sandwich technique. The sandwich technique, for those of you that don't know, is I want to start with something good, then insert that item we need to work on, and then end with something good. I do it to my kids. I do it to my employees, never my wife because she's perfect, but it works. It works. And make sure it's genuine. Don't do this because it is fake and you heard it somewhere. Do it because it's genuine. Find something positive. So I'll give you an example. If I have an employee that is chronically late or is chronically breaking things or forgetting things, whatever it is, I'm not going to go up to him and say, hey, listen, you stupid idiot, you broke another blank or you left another blank here or whatever it is. I'm not going to talk to him that way. I'm going to say, hey, listen, I want you to know you absolutely crushed that job the other day on that big pull fill in that we did or that shed demo that we did. You killed it. The fact that you had that entire shed done in 3 hours, completely dismantled, broken up in the truck on your way, happy customer, 5-star review, and you got a big tip is incredible. Great job. I'm really proud of you for that. Some of your guys have never heard that in their life. Some of your guys have never had a dad or someone in their life to tell them they're proud of them. So don't take that lightly, guys. Really think about that. You're in a position of really growing these guys and making them better. So make sure that you're taking advantage of that. You want your guys to look back one day, 20 years from now, and go, you know what? I would not be where I am if it wasn't for Mike, if it wasn't for Davis, if it wasn't for Ted. You want your guys to look back, trust me, as you get older, and you want them to go, man, he made me better. He sharpened that edge where I needed it bad. I didn't realize how bad I was until I got older and looked back, and man, what a nightmare I was. So make sure that you are investing time to really understand who you're working with and do the sandwich technique when there's something you need to address. You crushed it with that shed demo. I'm really proud of you. Now, I do want to talk to you about one thing because you did leave a couple of our tools behind, which messed us up for the day. As you know, we had to go back. And so here's what I'm going to suggest. I'm going to suggest we do a checklist for these kind of jobs from now on. Okay. So when we book those jobs, we're going to put a checklist in the system, which you can do with House Call Pro, which is who we use, not sponsored by House Call Pro. Maybe it should be. Or it could be as simple as, hey, what I'm going to do is I'm going to have the manager call you just to remind you when that job is wrapping up to make sure you grab those tools. Okay. Now, those tools are expensive, so we can't risk losing them. And I know we went back and got them, and I appreciate that. But that also backed us up for the day. Okay. So once again, I appreciate the hard work you did. Attitude's great. Customers love you. Let's just make sure that we are doing a better job, not forgetting our tools so that we don't get all backed up. All right. Now come give me a hug. That is exactly how I talk to my guys. And I don't get it all right. We mess up all the time. Davis and I make mistakes with our guys, but I can tell you this, if they feel like you care about them more than just the revenue they generate, they will be loyal to you. They will follow you. If you start another business one day, they're going to follow you there because you treat them the way you want to be treated. Do not talk to your guys in a way that if I talk to you that way, you wouldn't want to fight. Don't do that. Respect them. It doesn't mean now, if they're disrespectful to you, fine. Don't get on their level. Don't start slinging mud because then you both get dirty. What you do is you just say, hey, listen, you know what? I hear you, but this just is not working out. The fact that you feel this strongly about this situation that you can raise your voice at me and get so animated, use profanity, whatever it is, tells me that this is not the right fit culturally for you. Like we have a very set culture. We have very high standards. We don't compromise them for anyone. Guys, we've done that. We had a guy that worked here. He was a stud, came from the moving world, was a great teammate in terms of his capabilities physically. He was great with our guys, was an easy teammate in that sense, but he had a mouth like a sailor. And that is something we do not tolerate. We're a Christian business. We have high standards. We consider ourselves the Chick-fil-A of the junk removal industry. That is unacceptable. We don't want you doing that around customers. I can't control what you do when you're in the truck or away from us. I'm not trying to regulate your hearts here at work. I can't do that. But I can tell you when my guys are coming to me and saying, hey, this guy, like, he talks like a sailor in front of customers. Like, customers can hear him sometimes talking very loud and cursing every other word or even to the customer. I was like, okay, that's unacceptable. Had a talk, more than one, continued, had to let him go. And that was exactly the talk that was given was, hey, listen, great worker. We appreciate you. Wish you all the best. But obviously, there's a culture here that we have to maintain, and it doesn't look like it's a good fit for either side. So we are going to amicably part ways. If you need anything, let us know. We wish you all the best. That was it. Okay. So I deviated there from the script, but I hope you got something out of it. Guys, if you haven't already, go to school, type in Junk Raider University, and you'll find us there. I am actually putting a whole kit in there. I want you to grab the team pay and bonus kit that I've developed. I'm going to put it in school totally free. It's not even on the junkraider.com playbook site that we have all of our materials that you can buy, such as the actual playbook that has everything you need to run your business from the ops manual to the sales and marketing guide to how to land commercial accounts, phone scripts, you name it. It's all there on the playbook. So junkraider.com/playbook, as you can see. But if you just go to school and type in Junk Raider University, you will find us there. Join our group. We're just starting it, just growing. But this is the kind of stuff that I'm going to be putting on there totally free. The pay range is by role, 3 plug and play bonus structures, and a KPI scoreboard that you can easily track, okay? Free in the school community. Guys, if you haven't already, make sure you like this video, subscribe, and leave a comment. If there's something that you want to talk about, something you disagree with, something that you feel like no one is addressing, I just may make that our next videos. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you next time.